one time. Well, she's not poisonous, and not to sound like a smarty pants, but there's a big difference from poisonous and venomous. So, if you were to eat a plant that's called Hell's Bells, or if you were to eat a plant called oleander, that's poisonous. Poisonous is when you eat something and it makes you feel bad or harms you. And venomous is when something injects venom into you and it makes you sick. So, venom is basically modified saliva filled with all different types of enzymes, polypeptides, and proteins that give it the characteristics specific to the type of species that is biting you. So some species like brown recluse or the violin spider have neurocritic venom. Hope I'm saying that right. But anyways, when it bites you, no, it's not neurocritic, it's necrotic. Excuse me. I've been up, y'all, for a while. It's called necrotic, not neurocritic. But they have necrotic venom, so it eats your flesh. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a big difference from eating something. What's that? A little chihuahua crazy, but my dog has ran all dogs I have rescued and fostered. That's funny. I like chihuahuas, they're pretty cool. A lot of people have debated with this spider. This is actually one of the rare species of baboon tarantula, and they're not that common in a hobby. They're also called the Hercules baboon, but they're in the same genus as a species called Hystrocrates gigas. And what separates them and makes me think that they may be, well, they kind of look the same. So, like the carapace, which is right here, the head, looks the same on Hystrocrates gigas. But what is different is Hystrocrates gigas has two large back legs, like they're massive, they're huge for kicking dirt as they burrow. This species does not have those large back legs, although they may be a little bit larger in comparison to their other legs. They are nowhere as large as Hystrocrates gigas. Nick Mansell, thank you for the follow. So it's very interesting because they look similar, but then they have their different characteristics, which basically proves that they're different species. Let me see. I actually have a H gigas that I can show you. But it's funny because they burrow similar to each other. What is this? Ronald Bay City, Texas. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I've been working with tarantulas for a really long time. So it's kind of like how most of us, if we see a dog, we could claim it like, oh yeah, that's a Charles Spaniel, or oh that's a Great Dane, or that's a Doberman Pinscher or a Rottweiler. That's kind of how I've got with the tarantulas. Uh-oh, this thing is trying to say I'm not doing anything. Okay, what's the question? Your wife has 11 tarantulas? That's dope, man. We got hundreds. Do they all like to eat the same kind of food? Sometimes that's kind of, I can't necessarily say yes to that for the most part. So, like, our bird eaters, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I have beetles. Well, I don't breed the beetles, but I do breed the roaches. So I have thousands of roaches. But so like the bird eaters, like the two that just bred with each other. Sometimes I'll feed them adult mice. If I want to get them really fed, beefed up, if I want them to have a high calcium intake, I'll give them an adult mice. They do eat crickets, but there's a problem with crickets. Crickets are cannibalistic. So when your tarantula molts, it's actually at its most vulnerable. And a small little cricket could eat your adult tarantula when it's molting because it's soft and it is vulnerable. Crickets also have a lot of parasites. Crickets can carry tapeworms. There's also a type of fly that comes with crickets, which is just it's just annoying. It's a nuisance because they'll breed rapidly in your home, and you'll have like this infestation of flies. They're called coffin flies, and so they're bigger than your traditional fruit fly, and they're more hardier. And no, the roaches can't escape because they're not like the typical German cockroach. These are tropical roaches. They're called dubia roaches. They cannot fly and they cannot climb on smooth surfaces. Crickets do smell horrible. They smell disgusting. The dubia roaches, on the other hand, only eat organic matter. So that's like they only eat vegetables and fruit. And I need to put more soil into this enclosure because as you can see, it's making tunnels. And I want it to be able to have enough room to tunnel. Okay, come on out. Let us see you. Let me see if I can get it to come out for you. Okay, so if you can see, it looks very similar to the species of Hythrocrates that you just saw. Yes, I hold them all the time. I just held a very large one. But this species is an old world and they're very defensive, so I don't necessarily feel comfortable holding this species. But as you can see, they have these very large back legs. So this is H. gigas, Hystrocrates gigas. Yeah, and see, it just tried to attack the tongs, so I'm not going to hold this specific spider. Yeah, I don't like crickets. I totally understand. Is it KREMBS sports cards? I totally understand that, and that's perfectly okay. It's actually frowned upon in a hobby to hold your tarantula. Me, I'm not gonna say I'm the exception to the rule. As quiet as it's kept, most keepers handle their tarantulas. They just don't do it out in the open due to other people judging them. I'm not too worried about people judging me. I really don't do this for other people. I do it because I actually love it, and so I enjoy it a lot. So like, I'll do something like this with her, touch her, booper, booper on her, but to actually hold this species, oh, huge snake, yeah. So the normal colored one is Shere Kron. She's a 16-foot Sulawesi dwarf reticulated python. Then we have a few more on there too. So there's a yellow one with like yellow and silver. His name is Ka. He's a silver platinum reticulated python, and he is 18 feet. We got a common red tail boa, so boa constrictor. Her name is Medusa. She is 10 feet, one of the largest boa constrictors that I've ever seen. Then we have Bagheera, which is the spotted anaconda. Bagheera is a 8-year-old male spotted anaconda, and he's pushing 11 feet. Then we also have a 3-year-old male Moschino reticulated python. He's pushing 12 feet. Oh, I'm in Arizona. Some of them are very fast. For the majority, they have to be fast in order to survive out in the wild. So I would say yes. For the majority, they're all fast. Okay, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Is that what that is? SC, South Carolina? No, I don't have any rattlesnakes. I have small children, so I would otherwise if I didn't have small children. There's been no reported cases or documented cases of anybody dying from tarantula bites. There has been recorded cases of people dying from centipedes. Many species of Scolopendra can be very venomous and kill a human being as well as animals. So I've gotten out of keeping as many different species of centipede that I used to keep. And that's one of the reasons why I don't keep venomous snakes like rattlesnakes, because I have small children. Like even the tarantulas have to be locked up because I don't want them. Yeah, like even with the large constrictors, I don't. It's dangerous. Don't get me wrong, especially when you're dealing with 18-foot reticulated pythons, which have an insane feeding response. But they're under lock and key, and I keep them fed, so they're never really hungry. A two-step snake. I don't think I've heard of that. Oh yeah, they're very spicy. Until it's really, if you have them tap trained, not too much. I've seen a lot of people with some nasty retics, and in my opinion, it's all how you deal with them, because they could be in a feeding response where they think that there's food and they instantly go into kill mode. But if you have them tap trained, like let's say this was the reticulated python's head or the Burmese python's head, you come into their enclosure, the first thing you do is you go right on the head. Lets them know I'm not a rabbit, I'm not a chicken, I'm not a pig. Get away from me. So you hit them with this, they calm down, and then you just don't go straight for their head. You want to maybe grab them in their midsection and pull them out. Let them know that it's not feeding time, but it's dangerous because if you were touching a rabbit, if you were touching a quail or a rooster, they could smell that on your skin. And so they may be confused and try to attack you. And let me tell you this. The female Sulawesi, she's 16 feet, but she weighs over 200 pounds. It's a big girl. Although she's supposed to be a dwarf, right? It's a big girl. That's all muscle. Yeah, I have a lot that I've bred. I have a lot of egg sacs right now that I'm waiting to hatch. I have a lot of egg sacs that are about to hatch. I can actually show you a female with an egg sac. Although I don't recommend interrupting your females while they have egg sacs. This female is a proven breeder, and she never eats her egg sac. She's an amazing mom. She doesn't abandon them. So I can actually show you a female who's actually has an egg sac that is about to basically hatch almost any day now. So I will show you a female that has an egg sac that will be ready to hatch any day now. So this female right here, I don't know if you can see that huge egg sac that she has. That's not a ball of cotton. That is an egg sac. She's being an amazing mom. A lot of times people say, don't bother the mom while she has an egg sac. I absolutely agree with that. Sometimes they'll get stressed out and they'll eat the egg sac. Depending on what type of species it is or the demeanor of the tarantula will determine if I... And you see, I'm not over there messing with her. I'm still in her space, so I'm pretty sure it can be some type of stressful. So I will try my best not to... Oh, absolutely. I would say there's at least 100 babies in there, maybe even more. It's a pretty big egg sac. It's huge. That's a successful breeding right there, successful pairing. That's one of the reasons why I do this. This species of tarantula, for the most part, babies of this species can go anywhere from, let's say, $45 all the way up to $60. If you have 200 of those babies, do the math. That's a pretty good turnaround. I will keep a lot of them just to keep the DNA in my collection, but I also will sell a lot of them. I have a website where I sell my tarantula babies. And if I have extra females or males, I also sell them. That's not the main reason why I have tarantulas though. It started off as just a hobby with me. As a child, I used to really like Pokemon. And so, it's one of the more easier type of exotics to keep. They don't require a whole grip of space. They're not that expensive. No, not depending on, thank you for the follow, Tim Ford. It all depends on how you keep them. So, whenever you're breeding them, you take a risk. You run a risk of the female eating her egg sac. So what I do is while she's pregnant or while she's gravid, I feed her as much as I can. As much as she'll eat, I'll feed her. Because there'll be a period of time where she's not eating because she's guarding the eggs like the female that you just saw. And so if she's too stressed or if she's starving, a lot of the females will just eat the egg sac and take that nutrients. Oh yeah. Hopefully they weren't black widows. But some of them die. You can also take the egg sac from the female at the 31-day mark. I guess that's the best day that you should take the egg sac if you're going to. I would say 31 days. She's already rotated the eggs to allow them to develop properly. And at that point in time, you should have what is called eggs with legs. So the eggs are actually starting to grow legs. You can make like a trampoline type setup, put it inside of an incubator, make sure that there's a lot of humidity in this enclosure to keep the babies hydrated. And as long as you keep mold out of the incubator, you shouldn't have any problems. A few may die, but I typically have very good success when it comes to breeding my tarantulas. Although I did have a female who was a new mom. She's basically, her species is called Cereopagopus longipes, also known as the Vietnamese earth tiger. And she basically, I'm not sure how she did it or why it happened, but she busted open her egg sac and there was 100 eggs in that egg sac. I tried to put them in an incubator. This was like 2 days after she had laid it. Put them in a mechanical mother, which would rotate them every few hours. They didn't make it. So, and I know for a fact that it was a viable egg. I bred her. She ended up eating the male. So I know for sure that they were fertilized. But for some reason, she ate the egg sac. I had her well fed. You were sweeping at your job. You were sweeping at your job and saw hundreds come off of a big spider. Yeah, more than likely that was a wolf spider. Wolf spiders will keep their babies on their back. They're cool spiders. I just don't like them like that. Those look really creepy to me. I find wolf spiders very creepy. This species is called Brachypelma boehmei, also known as the Mexican fireleg tarantula. Yeah, they get really big. This species of spider gets really big and live very long. They can live over 30 years. Yes, this is a hair kicker. I don't know why wolf spiders creep me out. I just think it's because you think it'll be one spider, but it really be like 200 spiders on one. So they kind of creep me out. They really do creep me out. I don't know why. I think it's all of those creatures, and you're unable to just control them. You know. Oh, I totally understand. Yeah, it took me a couple of years to get used to tarantulas. I also keep black widows. Oh, it just kicked some hairs. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. It just did a butt kick. That's how they kick their hairs. They'll scrape them off their butt. Okay, I have a lot of black widows. Right, it looked like it was going to go for the dubia roach, but it didn't go for it. I think maybe it's because I interrupted. But that abdomen, that butt is looking kind of well fed, so she might just be a little full. But I know I said I don't like crickets, but I do have a few. And she's beautiful. A jumping spider. Yeah, jumping spiders are really cool. You know, there's a species of jumping spider that's actually the smartest species of spider in the world. Jumping spiders are very smart. Intelligence just amazing. Oh yeah, see, so she didn't want to eat a dubia roach, but she took that cricket without any problem. And how she took that, pretty confident that if I was to throw another cricket in here, she would take that too. Look, okay, she's kicking her butt. Look, she's putting hairs. Stop putting hairs up in the air. Oh no, she's kicking hairs into the air. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is close her enclosure up. She may not be the biggest tarantula at this point, but urticating hairs are urticating hairs. And I don't want them in my eye. But I'll show you some black widows right now. Absolutely no problem. Caramel and chocolate tones. I do have a species that is similar to that description, but it's not fully chocolate or caramel. But they are kind of brown and gold. They have gold highlights. So let's see if I can get this spider just to relax and not attack me or go everywhere. Oh look, well, I'm not even on camera. So this is a black widow. See if I can get her to eat on camera. I used to breed them as well and sell them at like expos. But I stopped breeding them because they have so many egg sacs. Like you could breed her one time and she'll take that one breeding and have like 3 to 4 egg sacs with maybe 300 to 400 spiderlings in each egg sac. So it got very overwhelming having all those small black widows that turn into venomous female black widows. Keeping them all fed, hydrated, just became overwhelming. Okay, she's ready to eat. And no, that's not her leg. That's from her molt. That's one of her molts from her old exoskeleton. Come on, girl, go back up. She's trying to come to me, y'all. No, the venom is stronger in the female. They're pretty hardy spiders too. I don't know if you can see that hourglass. No, the venom is stronger in the adults. You just gotta be careful with these. Like, sometimes you think they won't bite you, but then they'll turn around and bite you. That ping means you jump. Yeah, I'm not too sure what that ping was. And she does not want to go back onto her enclosure. Yeah, I really like daddy long legs. A lot of people get daddy long legs confused with cellar spiders, but they're really different from each other. Oh my goodness, she is on my. This was not planned. Go.